and welcome back to another episode of the Need a Lift podcast. With me, your happy host, Clyde. Always pleasure to be here with you today, everybody. And a beautiful day it is. Now, you may have noticed that today is no ordinary day at the Need a Lift podcast. Today is indeed the 7th installment. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 installments. Today's the 7th, all right? And 7, as we all know, is a significant number. Why? Nobody knows. But that's a fact. 7 is very, very significant. So, I wanted to make today's show a cut above the rest. And, dependent on the success of this here endeavor, this may be, from now on, not just a podcast, but indeed a vidcast. So if you want to fill your eyes with the beautiful sight of my handsome mug, if you want to be engaged by my playful facial expressions, all right? Then all you need to do is pull this up and watch it. Don't just listen, watch. It'll be fun. But if you want to just continue to listen, that's cool by me too. You do you, man. I don't care. Not to say I don't care. I'm just saying I'm impartial. Anyway, but now you have the option. Watch or listen or both. Go nuts. Unless, of course, you're vision impaired. In which case, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry to hear about that. Anyway, moving the show right along. If this is your first time joining me, I always say us. Yeah, us. I'm joined by my lovely wife, Mrs. Kaylee, the ukulele. Say hello, Kaylee. Wow. Yeah. All right, so if this is your first time joining Kaylee and I... joining Kaylee and me, people always think that. They think, oh yeah, it's always something in I. Sometimes it's something in me. You gotta understand that. Grammar's a doozy. It's a weird thing. It's a tough little creature to pin down, grammar. But you'll get the hang of it. In either case, we're kind of losing it anyway. I mean, the written language is going away. We're replacing it with hieroglyphs. Emojis. How often do you go to type something out on your fucking phone and your phone is like, here, why type out the word horse? Here's a horse. Oh yeah, of course. A horse. Why would I type out horse when I could just show you a little picture of a horse? Anyway, don't get me started. I don't want to rant, okay? This isn't a ranting podcast, all right? This is an inspirational podcast. What is the motivating factor behind this podcast? It is, my motivation to motivate you. You artist, you doer, you creator, you dreamer, you. Because your dream, I'm serious now. I'm not fucking around, okay? Your dream is so needed by the universe, you might not even have realized how necessary that thing is that you need to do. That thing is that you need to bring into the world because that thing does not yet exist. But it's up to you to render it. It's up to you to envision it. It's up to you to put your blood, sweat, and tears into bringing it into the world. And you will bring it into the world, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. It might be a play. I've known so many playwrights in my day. You might just write the next death of a salesman. I don't know. I know you're working on it. I know the desire is in your heart, but is your intention pure? That is very important. Let's never ever forget that as artists. Our intention is for the betterment of our fellows. It's so simple. It's so simple. Do you want to enrich your audience's life? Of course you do. So don't lose sight of that intention, okay? Here's the other thing, too, is it is never, ever, ever too late. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 85 and you haven't even started yet. But there's this little tickle. This little fairy. This little pixie. And she lives right there in your heart. You can feel her fluttering in there every day. And she's saying, shit, man, don't you know what I am? I'm the greatest goddamn play anybody ever wrote. And I live in your heart. Why won't you just let me out? But you say, oh. Not today, little pixie girl. Not today. Today I'm gonna leave you in there and I'm gonna watch TV. I'm gonna watch reruns of some fucking stupid dribble. Some fucking sitcom from 1992. That wasn't even funny then, and it certainly isn't funny now. And the writers, it wasn't written by a single visionary with a pure intention in his heart. It was written by a bunch of overpaid shitheads sitting around a fucking conference table saying, oh, how can we fill up 20 minutes and put commercials in between? Don't waste your time, your fucking precious little time, on stupid shit like that. Now, that's not to say that if you really do get a lot of enjoyment out of watching sitcoms, you know, if you really get a lot of enjoyment out of that, or if you really think that you've got a pure intention in creating a sitcom, then go the fuck nuts. Who am I to judge you? But I would encourage you. I would encourage you to examine your intention. Are you chasing the money? Have you compromised your artistic vision? Let me know, because I want to know. These are important questions for an artist to ask him or herself. Anyway, but that's not you. I know it's not you. But that's my point. That's my point, is you. If you're tuning into this podcast, then you felt that little bit. You felt that little bit of you felt that giddiness. You know the transcendent joy of creation because you've done it before. And maybe maybe you got knocked off the rails a little bit when sorry, I'm not going to rant about the pandemic. Because the pandemic is a tragedy, for sure. The lockdown is also a tragedy. It's a tragedy to all the ballerinas out there. It's a tragedy to all my stand-up comic friends. It's a tragedy to all of the fine artists who would like to have a grand exposition of their sculptures. Would like to address a crowd. To all the lecturers who want to talk about mind-bending concepts in front of an ever-growing crowd of willing participants, man. That's what this podcast is about. This is about you. You whose dreams, whose visions were put on hold because of this goddamn thing. We are young, we are strong, we are resilient. And when I say young, too, that could apply to somebody who's old in age, but young in spirit, all right? Because we're all young in spirit. We are all young in spirit, and that's a goddamn fact. Fuck with me on that. Fuck with me on that. Anyway. Today's a day. Be productive. Take action. Take a chance. It's fucking scary. I know. It's scary as hell to put your shit out there into the ether, into the universe, all right? Because think about it. Who do you gotta impress? Now, if you're just doing this to impress yourself, whoa. That's fine. Nothing wrong with the little, but don't let it become you. Get out there and make love to the world. Because the world is asking for it. The world needs your songs. The world needs your poetry. The world needs, your fellow human beings need it. Oh, man, they need a lift. They need something new. They are dying for something original. Look at us all. We're sitting around scrolling through this feed, that feed. All the feeds are starting to look alike, by the way. Did you notice that? Your Instagram feed is the same every day. You wake up every day, you say, hey, maybe there'll be something new on the old Instagram feed. Nope, there's not. Same old shit, different day. But not you, all right? Not for you, because you can bring something new into the world. And as long as that's in your heart, that intention to bring something into the world that will be to the betterment of your fellows out there. People who experience the same sorrow, the same levels of self-doubt, the same grief, the same excitement, the same happiness, the same pleasure, the same kinds of experiences. All right? We are all bound by the laws of physics, for fuck's sake. We are all slaves to the same emotions. We are all brothers and sisters under the fucking sun, all right? So get out there and do something great for them, man. Don't waste today. Today is not a day to be wasted. Don't waste this week. I don't want you to waste a single goddamn day this week. Every day you wake up, turn your phone off. Every day you wake up, turn your goddamn phone off and just listen. Just think. Just think about what you could do, because the inspiration will hit you. That is work in and of itself, is just listening to the ether, listening to the universe. She will speak to you. She will whisper little tiny secrets in your ear, and you will be so moved. You'll be so motivated. It will be better. I mean, that dullness, that drudgery that you feel scrolling through that stupid bullshit. Oh man. No, I mean, that couldn't even hold a candle to this enormous volcano of goodness that is bursting to erupt out of you, out of your head, your hands, your pen, your computer, your typewriter, your guitar, your little ukulele baby. I don't know what you do, but so long as you just keep doing it, no matter how old you get, no matter how much failure you might... I mean, that's the other thing, too. There is no failure. Every step you take on your path is a step in the right direction. As long as you don't get bitter. As long as you're not doing this for the glorification of your own ego. Allow me to rephrase. As long as you're not doing this solely for the glorification of your own ego. Oh, there's nothing wrong with being proud of your accomplishments, but that's the key word. You must accomplish something. You must be prolific. You must be productive. You can't just scribble on a piece of paper and say, oh, I did something. Oh, I did another thing. Oh, I did another thing. No. You'd be highly prolific in shit. And you'd know it. And you'd achieve no sense of self-satisfaction, but you know where. You know where that sense of self-satisfaction will come from. It's right around the corner. It's right there. You can see it. It's set on a sparkling pedestal. Just reach out and grab it. But you got to escape from that prison. That prison of self-doubt. That never-ending cycle of procrastination. Fuck it. Throw it out the goddamn window, because you are better than that. I'm serious. You are better than that. We all knew that you were destined for something great, okay? And as much as you daydreamed about how that would manifest itself in the world, don't worry about that, okay? Because today you're right on your path. You're right on track. You've never been off track. Keep going. One foot in front of the other. You felt the vision. It's in your head. It's in your heart. Just do it. Just get it out there. Get it on the page. Get something on the page. If it looks like a piece of shit, scribble it out and start over again. You'll do it. You will achieve nothing but greatness in your life so long as you have that feeling of grandeur. So long as you never let go of that ideal. Never, ever, ever, no matter how much those around you who have given up, who have let go of that ideal, want to try and squash it out of you. Never, never let go of it. Of course, honor your responsibilities. A grown man or woman always honors their responsibilities, is true to their promises, to those counting on them. I'm not saying roll over and quit your job. I'm not saying run out on your wife and kids. I'm not saying drop any balls here. That came out wrong. I'm not saying let go of your goddamn obligations, all right? Honor your obligations. Of course, we all must honor our obligations. But there is so much time beyond that. You have got so much time on your hands to do something great, something worthy, something wonderful, something truly awe-inspiring, because that genius lives in you. So long as that desire flutters in your heart, you'll do it, okay? I know you're gonna do it, all right? Let's do it together, because I'm doing it too. You and me, baby. We're going to the top. Oh, okay. Wow, that was fun. I'm glad we got that on video, because that was the best vid. That was the best pep talk I ever had, if I do toot my own horn. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm Clyde, always your happy host of the Need a Lift podcast, and I hope you found that somewhat lifting, all right? Anyway, not trying to beat a dead horse or anything. Ooh, yes. If you don't know me, I do fancy myself to be a bit of a poet. And I've got 2 poems for you today, everybody, and just be warned, they're quite snarky. Oh, they're sarcastic. They're quite sardonic. They might just offend you. So, if you're a little baby who needs his huggy boogie, go to your safe space and plug your ears until the poetry's over. But if you want to go, that was a doozy, Clyde. Ooh, that was edgy. Then, tune in, because here they come. I got 2 of them. They're going to blow your mind. All right, the first one. The first one, I guess you could say, I wrote it a couple of years ago, but it was, this recitation of it, anyway, was inspired by all of these proclamations that were on the bills. That were, we all voted, didn't we? Probably. I probably voted. I probably did. I just lost my I voted sticker. I didn't need it. Who needs it? Fuck that thing. Anyway, there was a whole bunch of proclamations. A whole bunch of proclamations. Proposition, not proclamations. What I'm doing is a proclamation. I mean propositions. Whoa. Anyway, a whole bunch of props. For new laws. We have to have new laws. Plenty of laws. We don't have enough laws. There is no problem out there that a new law can't fix, right? So, anyway, with no more further ado, hath I written this devilish little verse. It's entitled, Awfully Lawful. And it's by me, yours truly, Clyde always. Makes sense to me. What need we most to benefit this nation would be, from sunny coast to coast, some increased legislation. Just think how every noggin now must have a helmet on it. No question we should not allow a biker's choice to don it. Yet, somehow seems that not enough, lest might the law forsake us. Well, there comes to mind some other stuff the government should make us. For instance, when your dinner's coursed, before your steak's diminished, should not it strictly be enforced your vegetables you finished? Suppose you missed behind your ears, or failed to mind your grammar. Ought not that warrant 20 years of time out in the slammer? Perhaps a law to comb your hair, and one for healthy choices. A dictum stating not to stare, and use your indoor voices. A law to not stay up too late. Be sleepiness a sorrow, when set we forth to legislate some more new laws tomorrow. Woo! Yeah, we got a lot of laws these days. It's a good thing. It's a good thing we have laws. Otherwise, what? It would be chaos out there. Dear Lord. Dear Lord. Lots of laws. Anyway, hey everybody, moving the show right along. I've got another poem for you. And it's a double dog doozy. If you thought that was a doozy, then get ready for this one, all right? Because, yeah, this recitation was quite inspired by all of these images that the news reports have been showing me about our, and I'm serious, sorry, dead serious now. Hats off to our frontline workers, the healthcare workers out there, taking care of all of those terribly sick people with the thing. I'm not gonna say what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, okay? Now I know there's a lot of them out there. Okay, I'm not gonna rant and rave. That's not what this show's about. I'm not going to rant and rave. All I'm gonna do is recite you some poetry about a rather interesting development that has happened in the world of nursing in the last 100 years or so. Something strange happened to that job. And I don't know exactly when it happened, too. It's hard to put your finger on it. I think it might have been sometime in the 70s or 80s. I don't know. Might have been a slow transition. Anyway, with no more further ado, here it comes. It's called Hellllllllloooooo Nurse? In ancient day of Hemingway, if ever fell you ill, or maimed in war and caked in gore, at least you'd have the thrill to set your sight on she in white. The nurse was sexy still, but seems of late the common trait in all the major hubs. Not glamorous, pajamorous. Those dull and frumpy scrubs. No amputee would writhe in glee to watch her wrap his nubs. That flimsy skirt so hot it hurt. And Scarlet Cross eschewed. Once fetishized, now sanitized. All lifeless, plain, and shrewd. But worst of all, don't call her doll. Your nurse might be a dude. Yowza. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm going to catch flack for that one. You know what? I don't care. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my poetry. I wrote it with a great attention to detail. I'm a stickler for meter and rhyme scheme and measure and tempo. Okay, hey everybody, that brings us right along. Yeah, we're right on track, don't worry about that. That brings us to today's Artist Spotlight. That's right, if you're just joining, if this is your first time joining me, or joining us, I should say, Kaylee, if this is your first time joining us at the Need a Lift podcast, every week I feature one great artist, be him or her living or dead, to feature. Now, this isn't a full-blown biography, okay? I'm not a biographer. I'm merely paying my due respects, all right, to one great creator of the past or present. I'm merely laying out before you, maybe inspiring you to go and seek out some of their work, whoever they are, okay? And today's Artist Spotlight is, that's right, the humorist, the writer, the novelist. That American, that all-American. I guess I need no other descriptor besides that. He was an American of fantastic proportions. Today's Artist Spotlight is Mark Twain. That's right, Mark Twain. Humorist extraordinaire, funny man, had a big mustache, he liked to smoke cigars. Oh, hold on, I forgot I had a hat. Costume change. That's right, Mark Twain. Sorry, that came a little too late. Mark Twain. Born Samuel Clemens. All right, he worked on the riverboats. Supposedly, this is where his nickname come from. All right, Twain means two. So sometimes, how many fathoms deep are we? Say, Mark Twain. Hey, that's a great name. Mark Twain. Mark Twain went off to Hawaii, back when it was still the Sandwich Islands. And he came back to tell us all about all of those lovely, sexy, sultry, voluptuous, brown-skinned ladies out there. Oh, he got laid. I mean, they put the flower thing around his neck. Anyway, okay. Mark Twain was a lecturer, a public speaker. Make people crack the fuck up. People would line up to go see this guy talk. I mean, this was back before Comedy Central, too. This was back when you were just working the old circuit, you know. I guess it was pre-vaudeville. Holy shit. The cops are coming. Mark Twain wrote hundreds of wonderful stories. Full-length novels. Some of the most beloved full-length novels this country has ever produced. Or a writer from this country has ever produced, I should say. And before I conclude this artist spotlight, and really I do shit, these stupid sirens are going by. That's okay, whatever. I hope you don't hear them. Anyway, before I conclude this artist spotlight, I really would encourage you to go and read some Mark Twain, or dig this. This is the other thing, too. The great thing about this modern age is that every great work of literature, every great classic work of literature is available to you for free. All right, a recording of it. A professional voice actor or actress has read every classic novel you can think of. Think of a novel. You can pull it up on YouTube. It's right there. Read for you by a volunteer from this company called LibriVox, all right? So if you're a painter or a drawer, or if you're, running on a treadmill or washing the dishes, you can listen to great works of literature. You don't have to just listen to me blather on and on and on, but you really should. Oh, by the way, please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, hit the bell, like, tell a friend, all that shit. Anyway, Mark Twain wrote fabulous, fantastic, wonderful, moving, inspiring, incredible novels. And you owe it to yourself to check them out, all right? And it really is. Let me just conclude this little homage to dear Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, by saying it is a tragedy. It is an outrage that people want to burn his books, that people want to rewrite his books, all right? Because words, the meaning of words, it morphs, it shapes, it shape shifts, it changes over time. All he did was capture the way people spoke at a certain time, and I think it's pretty obvious what side of the debate he was on back in those days, because there was a pretty serious debate going on, not just in the United States, but in the world over, okay? So, hats off to dear dead Mark Twain. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for inspiring so many. And thank you for enriching the lives of so many of your fellows at the time. And now, timelessly, hopefully forever, we will never censor this man. We should still be teaching his books in school because they are phenomenal. And I know that word is overused, but I'm serious. He was a phenomenon. All right. Hey everybody, this is it. We're just about wrapping this podcast up, but I always close on an anecdote, and I have a particularly heartwarming anecdote for you guys today. And it's all about the first time I got my poetry published. And I gotta tell all you young poets out there, if you haven't experienced this feeling, I highly recommend you do it. Because that's the other thing. The beauty of this modern age. There's all kinds of publications out there. There's all kinds of editors out there just waiting to be in receipt of some of the lines that you've written. So get them out there. It's easy peasy, all right? You can do most of it on the computer these days, too. Basically all of it, actually. There's, I think, maybe a few dinosaurs out there that still want a snail mail submission, but everybody else, you can just do it right online. There's apps that make it easy. Get your poetry out there into the hands of some editors. Anyway, I, at the age of, would have been 2014, so I was 28 at the time. Can you believe that? A late bloomer. I, at the age of 28, had never had a single piece published. My mentor, he, at one of our meetings, passed me this little piece of paper. He was a mysterious little creature, this guy. I mean, rest his soul. Stephen Coppell. If you've never heard of him, look him up. He's got videos on YouTube. You can hear him reciting his poetry on YouTube. Stephen Coppell. That's with a PH. Anyway, my mentor, Stephen Coppell, at one of our meetings, we were having coffee. At the end of the meeting, he slid me this little piece of paper, and he said, and I think you'll find this quite interesting. I looked at the piece of paper. It was an open call for submissions to the Street Sheet Poetry issue. Now, what's the Street Sheet? Just briefly, here in San Francisco, there is a coalition called the Coalition Against Homelessness or something like that. And they produce this newspaper, and they give out free copies to people who live on the sidewalk, and they say you can sell these and keep all the profits. So, every year in January, they publish what's called the Poetry Issue. So I submitted some poetry. Forgot about it. I mean, I sent it off. I typed it up. I put it in an envelope. I sent it off. Forgot all about it. Come January, I have a meeting with Steven, my mentor. And he's dressed up in his silk shirt. He was a flamboyant man, and a straw fedora. God, you should have seen him. He was dressed up to the nines. You want to talk about giddiness? The little fluttering fairy in his heart was ready to get out. He had a little secret he had to sit on that day, and he just couldn't wait to drop it all over me. We sat down, and he gave me a look. He said, well, I've got something in here. Hey, what's this? Pulled out 2 copies of the Street Sheet. I looked at it, and I could kind of feel my heart stop. As I was like, I wonder. And he passed me 1 copy. And he said, all right, let's just take a look at this together, shall we? And I flipped it open. And there in the centerfold, in huge 24, 36-point font, there they were, my words, an excerpt from my poem, Grandma Sue. It said, what world of wonders lays within your sturdy, ancient mind, your body fragile, frail, and thin, your youthful presence kind, your jaded, crumpled paper face and eyes a pair of slits, your back a crooked, hidden ace like it's been smashed to bits. And every morn you walk the blocks with staggered never strides, as if your feet were heavy rocks, your cane it smoothly glides. And what adventures have you made in all your mighty years? Or did your clubbing fingers fade, just catching falling tears? And so you stare like dead ahead. You're seeking something there, just wrathful earth, your feet to tread, as if without a care. And I mean the tears, they fell from my eyes. I couldn't remember a happier time, because that's what it was. It was an accomplishment. It was the fruits of my labor, and it was the result of me taking an action, taking a chance. So get out there and take a chance, everybody. Just go do it. Do your goddamn thing, whatever it is. Go out there and smile at a fucking stranger. I know it's difficult with these fucking rags on our faces, but do it anyway, okay? Let's get up and do it. Let's get up and do our goddamn thing. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on trucking. Let's never stop, for fuck's sake, okay? So hats off to you. Keep it going. I'll see you next week, everybody. Mwah! Thanks for tuning in. Say goodnight, Kaylee the ukulele.